Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Well, you've decided it's time to engage a financial planner, but you don't know any financial planners. How do you know who to trust? For years, I've recommended that you start by finding a professional with the CFP designation, that Certified Financial Planner. It's become recognized internationally as the standard for financial planning. The CFP designation is conferred in the United States by the CFP Board and by 22 other organizations affiliated with them. To earn the CFP designation, one must hold a bachelor's degree, pass 6-semester courses on a broad spectrum of financial topics, pass a 10-hour exam, and complete 3 years of experience. To keep it, designees must pay the CFP Board an annual fee of $325 and complete 30 hours of continuing education every 2 years. They also must abide by a code of ethics. And the cornerstone of this code of ethics is the duty to act as a fiduciary or in the consumer's best interest. Within that code of ethics, CFPs may be compensated for their work in several different ways. Some of these include commissions, fees, which would be fee only, and both fees and commissions, which is often called fee-based. The duty to act as a fiduciary is difficult to carry out when a majority of the compensation comes from selling the consumer a product. In fact, many other countries like Australia and the UK don't allow individuals who give financial advice to also sell products and receive commissions. But still, I know many excellent fee and commission CFPs who do put their clients' interests first. Typically, only a small portion of their compensation comes from commissions. Some of them sell their clients term life insurance, which has a low commission, instead of sending them to a life insurance salesperson who may be tempted to upsell them to more expensive and commission-laden products. Other planners establish a set annual fee and offset any commissions received against the fee. If you're shopping for a fiduciary planner, though, it's hard to know without doing an extensive interview if a fee and commission planner's compensation is largely fees or largely commissions. For these reasons, when I became a CFP in 1983, I decided to remove any potential conflict of interest and only accept fees for my financial planning services. Accordingly, I hold myself out as a fee-only planner. Over the years, fee-only has become the easiest way to be reasonably assured the financial planner is a true fiduciary. However, and as you might expect, a number of CFPs have found a way to misuse the term fee-only, rearranging their compensation so that they too can brand themselves as fee-only without giving up lucrative commissions. Usually they do this by owning 2 firms. One is a fee-only firm that charges consumers fees for planning advice. The other is a financial services company that earns commissions by selling the client financial products. The CFP can take a salary or receive dividends from the financial services firm and thereby contend that he or she does not receive commissions. Well, that's pretty slick. In fact, it's too slick. To stop this abuse, the CFP Board recently passed a new requirement. It specifies that if a CFP or any party related to them owns any interest in a financial services company, they cannot call themselves fee only. On the surface, this appears to solve the problem, and it makes it easier for potential clients to find planners who are true fiduciaries. The problem is, like all regulations, there were unintended consequences. Those consequences have snared me, along with several other fee-only planners who are careful to carry out their fiduciary duty to clients. In order to maintain my professional integrity, I'm even considering giving up the CFP designation. And it's a designation that I've maintained with pride for 30 years. Next week, I'll tell you why. Thanks for joining me.